Hi, I'm Abby Stumpf, Public Information Officer with Albemarle County. The Albemarle County Police Department has recently launched a body-worn camera program. Come along with me as I have a conversation with Captain Kevin Miller of the Patrol Division about this new technology. All right, Kevin Miller, Captain Kevin Miller.
Captain Kevin Miller.
Tell us, what are the goals of the body-worn camera program? Why are we instituting these now?
So the goals of the body-worn camera program are to enhance the already good relationship we have with our community. It allows for transparency. It helps build trust. It helps also with the officers. The officers have a recorded account of what went on during a time of crisis. What we found and what studies have found is that when there's a crisis that occurs, oftentimes eyewitness accounts of what happened are not that reliable because people tend to focus on small little increments and they're unable to see a whole picture. And when you have a video of that, you get exactly what somebody said, not someone else's summarization of what they were saying. Mm-hmm. So things of that nature, it allows us to serve the community in a way that there's trust and transparency with what we do when there is a question, things of that nature.
So how many cameras are there in the whole program, and then what types of officers or divisions or units will be utilizing them?
Sure. So there's 112 cameras total in the program. The majority of those are going to be assigned to our patrol division. Our patrol officers will have them. Also, our traffic and our K9 officers will be getting cameras as well that they have all the time. And then we're going to have some cameras that can be checked out by other divisions. So if investigations, for instance, was going on a search warrant, they would be able to check out cameras. Or if some of our problem-oriented policing unit had some sort of event that they were doing or operation they were working on, they could check a camera out and then use it for that event.
So when will officers turn their cameras on or off?
Sure. So officers are going to turn their camera on anytime they're taking any type of law enforcement action. What that means is if me and you are standing side by side in Kroger and I have my camera on my person, I'm not going to be recording mine and your conversation as we're talking about the weather or whether or not UVA won the basketball game. However, if I am at the Kroger and we're standing side by side and the loss prevention officer goes to confront a shoplifter and request assistance, I'm going to turn my camera on for that because there's a high likelihood I'm going to take some sort of law enforcement action in reference to that. So I want my camera on, recording what's being said and recording what I'm doing. So the short answer is whenever they're taking law enforcement action, and the long answer is it depends on what law enforcement action is being taken.
So then tell me about how the camera is capturing, and it captures someone right before the officer hits record.
Yes. So our cameras, and this is the way it is in our in-car cameras as well, our cameras record video on a loop. And what that means is the camera's kind of always recording video. And then when you hit the record button, it'll save 30 seconds of video prior to you hitting that button and attach it to this clip. And it's not recording the audio portion of that, but it does record the video. And the reason that's helpful is a lot of times there's something that goes on seconds before an officer reacts and springs into action, right? So if I was riding down the road and a car run a stop sign and hit another car in front of me, yeah, if I hit record, I'll record my interaction with everybody right after the crash, but I missed the crash, which is the most important part. So that loop will sometimes catch that action so that we get those precipitating events on video.
So that loop, if they don't hit record, What happens to that captured video loop?
It just gets written over.
Right.
It's constantly writing over itself all the time. The actual memory of the camera, it's not automatically uploading everything wirelessly to a cloud or anything of that nature. It's actually recording to a tiny hard drive in the camera. So what happens is that loop just writes over itself over and over and over again unless the record button is hit, and then those are tagged from deletion so that they can't be deleted.
How will these body-worn cameras be used in public spaces?
So again, it'll be the same criteria. If you see an officer walking around at a public event, chances are their camera will be on, and as we already discussed, the video is recorded on a loop. They won't be recording audio and conversations. However, at a point that they need to take some sort of law enforcement action, if they're going to detain somebody, if they're going to go up and question somebody, or if somebody comes up to them and wants to file a report for a lost wallet or something of that nature, they'll activate their camera at that time so that they can record that type of incident or record that interaction. And the recordings are also used as kind of officer notes. If somebody's come up and they're reporting a crime to me, let's say that they had some items stolen out of their car, and I record that conversation. When I go back to write my report, that recording helps refreshing my memory without me having to stop and write down every single word the person told me on my notepad.
So when will body-worn camera footage be disclosed to the public?
So, we're going to treat our body camera footage the same way we treat our in-car video footage. And by that I mean we'll comply with FOIA laws. We will comply with any court process that we're legally required to. And that'll be it.
How are officers trained on the body-worn cameras?
The first part of the training was a video that came from the company WatchGuard, which is now owned by Motorola. They have a video training series that all the officers would have to watch the video training. And then when we actually installed the cameras and deployed the cameras to the officers, we did in-person training, showing them what all the buttons did, showing them how the mount, there's a magnetic mount that goes behind your shirt, showing them how to place that to make sure that they can they can access everything with no problems. There's no obstructions. So they actually get hands-on training at that point in time.
Why now?
Cost, technology improvement, infrastructure. Is kind of a perfect storm. I know a lot of people did body cameras prior to us, but we have some challenges that not all agencies face. One, we have a large geographic area. So the idea that an officer needs to come back every 2 to 3 hours and download his video was a non-starter for us. Technology has changed now to where the body cameras can store a lot more video than they could even 3 years ago. Battery power. So we couldn't have a camera that was going dead in 7 hours. The purpose of the camera is to increase transparency. However, if every time you need video footage, you don't have it because the video was full or the battery power wasn't working, that just causes mistrust issues, right? So, we needed something that was going to work for the environment we have. There's the cost factor. Again, as technology has moved forward, the cost of the technology has decreased. Although the cost of data storage is a huge issue now, the cost of the cameras themselves is not what it was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. So I think we see that with everything with technology. TVs, you see it with laptops. It's just the normal cycle of things. So all of those together are reasons why we're doing it now.